other than
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our broadcast. Oh, they're gonna have to back out. It's showing them running Michigan.
Yep.
So I'm not even gonna bother going to the race then.
No, but while we're in here, we can get a starting order.
Yep. All right. This looks like we got Trout starting first. Looks like Spanker second. AJG third, and they're all starting to back out, so everything's off now. Well, I got the first three in for you.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back out of this.
HAG qualified second, so he gets the pole spot.
And who was it that you said switched?
The little man is in the 5.
Oh, that's right. Yep. Little man is no longer in a Toyota. He is now in a Chevy.
He and one of his teammates had a hard time getting along, so the captain of the team decided to veto him from his team, and he became a free agent. And the Chevy crew went ahead and picked him up around 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Oh, late changes.
There's a lot more to these teams than just driving a manufacturer. You have to be able to handle each other in a voice chat. You have to be able to handle each other in the text chats where you guys are sharing setups and stuff like that. And,
You gotta work together.
Little Man and Marcus didn't get along and had a big argument today, which I'm hoping does not prolong and go on to the track. But we will be watching it closely to find out whether or not it does.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say that was the messages that were deleted out of the chat that I didn't get to see earlier.
I'm going to probably say yeah, but actually it blew up in the Toyota camp chat.
Oh, okay.
And then they posted in the league chat, kept it going, and we asked them to, not talk about it on there.
See, people, we try to keep it, civil as best we can. Sometimes tempers do, get the best of us. I am no exception to that whatsoever.
It's a video game, but and there's no money on the line. There's none of this stuff. We're racing basically to have fun, and we have 5 different series here at Giggity, but we have 3 that separate you according to talent level for the most part. And the idea to that is so that everybody can all have fun and all be competitive in racing for a championship. The problem with that is when you're racing for points, somebody bumps you when you're in a point spot, pushes you back, and all of a sudden you're not having fun anymore. Once you stop having fun, you start getting mad. Once you start getting mad, you start voicing your opinion to those that made you mad.
And it goes from there. And all right, there are our invites again.
I will send you an invite again. They're going to do 1 pace lap at 80 miles an hour. Flo did not make the race.
No, he did not. Alrighty.
Let's see. I think you said Trout had the pole here. So
I
we're looking
believe
for
he
that
did.
45. Go ahead and move up to the front. Maddie and RKM in here just trying to mow the yard. Let everybody know where they plan on racing later, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you looking at? Two choices here. Who are you looking at that came from the dash to be competitive and look at for the win? And then also of the regulars, who are you looking at as being not necessarily an underdog, but you know what I'm saying? Who are you looking at having a good points night here, at least at Vegas?
For the dash drivers, I've got to go with that number 7. I've got to say Noco. Uh, as the regulars, I would like to, see Eternal get up there and get us a win. But I mean, he's got a lot of competition tonight. Uh, so I mean, it's hard to say for the regulars because the dash drivers that got in, there's a lot of talent in there, and it's going to be hard for anybody to keep up with them, I believe.
Yeah, as you're talking about it, there's actually 4 of the 5 original dash, which actually 7 of the dash drivers ended up making it with people backing out. But 4 of the 5 are running right there in the top 5, with the exception to that being AJG in the 55.
All right, I forgot about AJG. If I had to pick a regular, then I definitely think I'd have to go with him. But I'm definitely looking for that number 7.
Yeah, AJG actually, I believe he's the points leader in the Xfinity series after last week.
I believe so.
Let me check that real quick.
All right, as we see
He is
people
indeed.
taking different lines. You got some of them in the high line. You got some of them not really on the bottom of the track, but more like a lane up from it.
I'm looking to see Marcus last week had a really rough time. I think he backed out of one of the races and
He lagged out of one, if I'm not mistaken.
lagged out of one and then backed out of the other because he was upset. And he actually is in a number change this week. Last week he was in the 66, but with Little Man, which this is funny, Little Man was in the 18 last week and switched over to Chevy with his dispute with Marcus. Marcus actually took Little Man's car and is in the
Mm-hmm.
18 this week.
Well, there we go.
And he's
So,
actually looks like he's running right there behind AJG and Spanker for the sixth position, battling for fourth.
mm-hmm. As we see, here comes that number 7 Anoco on the inside of Trout. But looks like Trout had the run going into the corner, though.
Actually, if I'm not mistaken, the car that's catching Marcus, AJG, and Spanker is the 5 of Little Man.
Alrighty then. We'll have to watch that closely.
I'm telling you, I know that you got a broadcast going, but I think I'm just as intrigued, if not more, on watching this Marcus and Little Man,
Yeah.
how it plays out on the track.
Oh, I am too. I will definitely be switching to that camera angle whenever he does. If he does, if and when catch up. Right now, we got a
I
heck
am
of a
happy to
battle
see
for the
that this
for the
race is
top 3.
going. Oh, sorry about that. Right now, I'm pretty happy to see that we haven't had any cautions. The field is already spreading out, so the longer this goes green, the less likely of a caution.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's
Cautions
one
breed
thing that
cautions. So,
it's one thing we've been struggling to have here is green flag runs. Um, a
it's a
lot of
7 and 45 make contact.
Trout and Noco.
Yep.
A lot of leagues don't start as many cars as we do. We like to start 16. I think there's 15 in this race. Um, when you have 16 cars on, especially the fact that it's a video game, it's very difficult. You tend to use your bumper a little more than you do other places or in real life because what's it actually doing to hurt you? Um,
Yeah.
but it's really difficult to get green flag runs with 16 cars. And here with 15, it looks like the Xfinity series has got it panned out pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Which last season Our first season at Giggity, the Xfinity series actually seemed to be the series that put on some of the best racing and the most green flag runs.
I heard that. Maddie was actually telling me about that. That Xfinity, to quote Maddie, kicked ass last year.
Yeah, Matt was a big fan. Him and Eternal, they both actually made the playoffs in the Xfinity series. They were both, of course, the first two eliminated, and they're also real good friends in real life outside of the game.
As you
And
see,
so
the
that weekend,
11
they
making a
hung out
run
and
on
got drunk
7.
together.
Oh,
They
this
posted
top 6 is getting close together now.
they posted eliminated on Thursday, drinking on Saturday.
Hey, whatever helps you cope.
Yeah. RKM looks like he's back here helping. Well, I guess that wouldn't be helping. The one's a Chevy, but Brian's back there in the 19 trying to catch some draft.
As you see
Is
somebody on
middle
pit
man looks
road.
like he's falling back. Who is that? 61 maybe? Oh, the 55 AJG's on pit lane.
A
Short
little
pit,
bit
I
of
would imagine.
strategy, yeah.
Looks like the 98 is getting ready to come on the pit lane also. Yes. Oh no, he must have just got hit down on the backstretch because he did not take the pit lane after riding the apron all through 3 and 4. That
Ooh.
might have been a bad option. He might have actually should have pitted there.
As a sweet Trout in that 45 coming back for the lead again. Battling that 11 car.
Noco and Marcus make some contact. 5-car battle for the lead. What a great race.
Oh, yes. See, 11's going to get the run going down the backstretch with that draft.
Ooh, 9 and 7 getting awfully close. Shout out to Marcus here, the only Xfinity Series regular up there with the rest of them. He needs a good points week after lagging out and backing out of last week's 2 races.
Oh, yeah.
So this is important for him. We go through the field a little more here. Who is in the ones? The one is
would be Baker
Bones. He seems to be holding his line a little better than he has here in the past few, I'd say probably weeks. He's been struggling here. I don't know if he got a new wheel or what's been going on. He seems to be holding his line pretty good today. As Arkham and Brian both getting ready to pass him on the inside. We have a newcomer that did not race last week, Sky E in the 88. I'm not so sure where he's running. He seems to have fallen back a little bit, but looking forward to seeing what he can do here in the new season.
I tell you, the front battle's interesting now.
Yeah, after going through the field here, looks like the best racing going on right now is for the lead of all places. As those 5 have clearly broken away from the rest of the pack.
Oh, yes. I'm seeing 9 getting left out to dry on the inside. Oh.
You got 3 Chevys and 2 Toyotas running there.
Uh-huh.
Now, if you're Trout, he's not an Xfinity regular, but Marcus is. You got 3 Chevys that are Cup drivers, a Toyota that's a Cup driver, and then 1 Toyota Xfinity driver. If you're Trout, you maybe want to plug up to the outside and maybe try to help Mark. Oh.
All 3, Noco, Marcus, and who's that? Spanker. Catch the wall.
Looks like Spanker's probably going to end up losing the draft out of this, and possibly Trout making a 3-car battle.
Yep.
So RKM, who's that back there? RKM, Baker Bones, Brian. They spread out a little, but if they would get nose tail, they should be able to catch Trout and Spanker here in no time. And it looks like they actually already are.
Oh, as we see, looks like maybe the 11 might have slipped up coming out of turn 2 and gives the lead to the number 7 to Noco.
Now I'm interested.
Trout has already called him again.
Kind of just want to be in Marcus's brain here for a minute. He's got to know that he is by far the top Xfinity regular. Do you just settle and ride, or do you try to get that stage win and get the all-important playoff point?
Right now, sitting in 3rd, I would probably say he's content on riding right now. Now, if he can find a way to get, maybe if him and Trout, both men Toyotas in the same chat, if they can get together and get around that 11, I think he might try to go for the stage win. But
Oh yeah.
right now, I think he's pretty well content sitting up there riding in the top 5.
I'm really impressed with Trout. After falling back like that and losing the draft, he just drove right back up to him.
Especially after seeing Spanker back here still struggling to,
Yeah.
maintain where he's at track position wise.
Now, Trout may have only fallen about a half a second back and still been within the draft, but actually it's starting to look like Spencer might actually even be catching him.
I actually think you might be right, but...
Oh, Matty hit the wall. He's on the inside on the front stretch.
Oh, this ought to be interesting. I see him. He's on the apron, yep.
Oh, here we go. Leaders are catching him.
Yep. I think they'll be on a straightaway, maybe going into 3 by the time they get to him.
It looks like it. But Matty should be back up to speed by now.
Oh, yeah.
May actually take him another lap or 2 to get to him. Looks like Trout's going to be pitting this time by.
I think maybe Noco is too. Yep, Noco is too.
All the leaders except Smitty. Oh, and the 61. Nope. Oh, yes. Oh, Smitty pits too.
Yep.
Ooh, Smitty might have gotten the best on there, on pit road.
Yes, it looks like he might have. He waited to the last second, dropped down really, really quick. It's going to be interesting to see.
I'm going to go ahead and watch this battle coming off pit lane because I want to see actually in relation to where AJG ends up with this. I'm thinking that AJG short pitted as soon as they got within the fuel run to the end of the stage, and he might have pitted right then just to take a splash and no tires, whereas these guys might be low on tires and have taken some. As Spencer got out much earlier than the others. Here comes AJG now.
Oh, he catches the wall.
Yeah, him and Brian catch the wall. You got by Noco and Marcus, but where's he in relation to Spencer and
Spencer's all the way up in going in turn 4 right now. So he just took a splash.
Spencer come out with the lead. Yeah, Spencer come out with the lead as Smitty's. It looks like he's a couple seconds behind Spencer even. And the 61 of who's in the 61? That's Sergeant Sauls. He is not. He's looking at going a lap down. He's on the lead lap now, but he took the same pit strategy as Spencer because he was actually in pit lane right in front of the leaders, and so he's fighting to stay on the lead lap right now. As it looks like Smitty's actually catching Spencer pretty good.
And stage is over.
Ooh. So Spencer should have just gotten the stage win.
I believe Smitty did. Smitty was in front. I was watching him.
So Spencer was...
Yeah, Spencer was second.
Smitty was right behind Spencer.
No, you're looking at the green 98.
No, the 11 is right behind the 9. Spencer's in the 9. He should have been the car that...
Oh, it might be. I was looking at the wrong car then.
The leaf filter 11 car, the Chevy is right behind the 9, so I'm thinking Spencer took that with Smitty finishing second, but who knows?
We'll get clarification on all that whenever they post stage pics.
Hopefully somebody remembered.
Alrighty. Looks like Marcus didn't get that good of a restart as they're all freight training him on the outside. As they're checking up going into 1, it looks like a little bit.
His little man's in the lead.
Oh, Noco and Matty get together. Oh, Trout does too.
Oh, AJG and... Oh, I think the caution's out, but AJG and Brian just made some contact back here. As little man stays out, I'm guessing he probably, at the end of the stage, probably took 4 tires and fuel and decided he'd stay out and get some track position this time.
I would probably say that because Well, let's see. If he pits here, then he probably didn't. But if he definitely stays out, then yeah, I'd say he's got.
That was actually, from what I just seen, that was a lag wreck.
Yep. Yeah, he stayed out, so I'm guessing he's got 4 fresh ones.
Okay.
Definitely looks like that inside.
I'm watching Eternal here to see if I can't see some lagging on my screen, or if possibly it was a game glitch. Maybe he looks like he's pretty solid on my screen. I don't see any lagging.
Oh.
Ooh, the 88 is Sky E. Oh, down to the apron. Him and Eternal
Oh,
make contact.
oh, and Eternal is
in the
flipping.
air.
Oh.
Man, I wish I was in car at that point. Oh, you can't do an in-car view.
Nope. And there is no caution either.
You hate to see that happen.
Oh, yes.
Him in. Again, same with Sky E. You know, his first race here, he's trying to have a good
Looked like
show.
he might have
Now,
caught the wall and came down.
yeah. AJG's up here trying to get fourth. Little man's holding his own up there. The newest Chevy teammate, and looks like Spenker and Smitty might be like, "Hey, welcome aboard, teammate," up here trying to draft with him.
I ran with Little Man a few times. Like I say, he is, very well decent drivers. We see Marcus in the 18 on the apron coming through turns 3 and 4.
And I'm going to agree, Little Man's a fast, clean driver. Again, there's more to this than just the on-track racing. You have a lot of it is vocalization and communication with yourself and your teammates. And we try to put teammates in a chat together, so you're not listening to everybody. You can make a pit strategy, blah blah blah, etc. You don't always get along with everybody that's in the league. You've got people from all over the country, not even just this country. Is our Cam? He's our old Canadian. Hey, sometimes it's hard to get accustomed to how other people are and their different personalities.
Yeah, I think we got lucky though in the Ford group. Everywhere, everybody pretty much gets along with it, and really had much, problem with anybody yet.
Yeah, I agree. The Ford camp seems to be a group of, I want to call them friends. Most of us don't really know each other in real life, but it is a good tight-knit bond where everybody's helping each other out.
See that number 5 just steadily holding it up there. Don't look like anybody's getting to his bumper to challenge him any. But here comes that number 7 Noco. He might have something for him maybe if he can get around.
We got 3 of the Cup regulars catching Little Man up front, and then you got AJG coming up behind them.
So what is that 1, 2, 3, 4 Chevys and a Toyota in the top 5?
Yeah, I was just looking for where I seen the closest Ford, and you got to look quite a ways back.
Yeah.
As you got 3 Toyotas coming up behind that pack, which fills out your top 8. And it looks like Maddie might be the first one in 9th.
Ooh.
Right behind that other pack of 3 Toyotas.
Well, we are down to 4 drivers tonight right now too, so that don't help and matters none.
And we were talking about Kay Larson as probably the Xfinity Ford car to watch, and he couldn't make this race. He's looking to make ISM. Oh yeah, Flo. He had something came up with him. So the 2 of them both being back for ISM will make for a big difference.
Oh yeah. Alright, Looks like they're all getting stretched out here. Straight line, single file formation. So let's see who's going to be the first one to break tendency.
AJG dropping below Smitty,
Let's
as
see.
it looks like Little Man drifted up and Noko going for the lead.
Yeah, but Little Man still had that push draft from the outside, so he's able to hold on to that first spot.
It also looked like the rest of the Chevy camp decided to stay up there with Little Man. I'm thinking now that he's over there in the Chevy camp, they want to do just like I was talking about with Trout and Marcus earlier. You got 4 Chevys and 1 Toyota. 1 Toyota for point, 1 Chevy for points. If you're Chevy right now, it does not hurt to give their driver the points.
Oh no,
They're racing for a race win. They're not racing for stage wins and points. They're just looking for the checkered flag at the end. So in these stages, 1 playoff point and 10 points for the season, it's important to get that for them.
Well, I have a question for you on that subject. A little bit of clarification for everybody else. If a non-regular driver does win the stage, does the first person who is a regular closest to them, do they get the playoff point?
Absolutely not. It's just like real life.
Okay.
In the real NASCAR, if the person that wins the stage, they get a playoff point. If Kyle Busch drops and races Xfinity,
I was about to say,
and he wins the stages, he gets absolutely nothing.
I was about to throw that out there for a reference.
Yeah. The only exception to that is the pole position. We give 1 playoff point for the pole. In qualifying, if one of the dash drivers happens to get the pole, such as in this race, Trout had the pole. The highest qualified regular was AJG. He does get the playoff point. But when it comes to stages, you do not.
Noko battling up here a little bit.
Now, we talked about this in the dash a little bit. Noko may be Little Man's teammate, but he cares a lot about being in first.
Yes, he does.
He just likes having that clean, fresh air in front of him. He doesn't like being the car in second. He at all times wants to be the car in first.
And shout out to him last night for winning our 2019 Custom Cup Series at Charlotte last night.
What a long race that was.
Yes, it was. 200 laps. In which the Xfinity Series tomorrow night will also be doing a custom Xfinity Series setup. Will that be 2019 edition as well?
That is going to be 2018. We actually had the addition of a few drivers that they joined just to race our Xfinity Customs. And therefore there's no teams on that. There's no teams, and we're running 18 to suit the drivers that just joined because they don't have 2019.
Okay, all right.
But tomorrow night is a free-for-all for all of our drivers. There will be no team affiliated. We will take all the drivers that participate. They can run any car. So you might see, for example, Noko in a Chevy tonight. He could be in a Toyota tomorrow with Smitty in a Ford. First come, first serve. First to sign up with a car, they get it, and they just shoot it out.
You just see Noko going for the lead, and he's going to get it.
Here, you should get him this time, yeah. Now I would imagine they're probably going to have to do
Little Man back on the inside.
This stage as well. Ooh, Little Man made the pass.
Nope, that was the stage.
So Little Man might have just gotten himself the stage win.
I believe he did because it came out as soon as he crossed the start-finish line. That engine dialed down, and it's kind of a long shot to say a caution was coming out as soon as he crossed the finish line. It's seen it before,
yeah, I don't see. I've scrolled through the field. I don't see any car out of place. It does look like the 61 of Sergeant Sauls is out of the race. He may have just pitted, but it looks like he's probably out of the race. What a move by Little Man.
Although,
makes you question team affiliate there from Noko. If that was the final lap and that was indeed the stage.
Did he back out the gas?
Noko passed him in 1 and 2 in the first place instead of just staying in line and pushing. But then did he lift once he realized, oh, you're a points regular? I mean, they were in the same chat, so they had to have been talking about that.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like I would imagine that Matty probably got his lap back on this one, as I
I'd say
did
so.
not see Eternal go a lap down last stage.
I didn't either. Don't look like anybody went another lap down last stage.
But Matty in the first stage, I know he went a lap down. I'm not so sure about Marcus, as Marcus restarted
In
in
the
the last
back.
position.
Oh,
Oh,
as they're
RKM back
making
inside.
contact. Oh,
Oh,
big wreck.
Eternal is a big wreck. That one should bring out a caution.
Oh, yes.
And it did. Cautions breed cautions. That was a restart. It's now the third stage. The race is on the line at this point.
No holds bars
There's no
now.
telling. It's been pretty good racing to this point. Smitty actually took credit for that one, so apparently he come down and I seen a green car hit RKM, but I thought at first it was Eternal, but
He
apparently
might
it
have
was
caught the
Smitty.
wall coming down the backstretch because you grind on that wall, it'll throw you off a little bit. And if there's somebody underneath
Yeah,
you, then there ain't much you can do
especially
about it.
coming off two. Especially coming off two, if you're on the outside, it's really easy to drift up and get into that outside wall.
And whenever you try to get off that wall, sometimes it'll pull too much. You catch that car inside, just a nudge, it'll throw you back into the wall and back off back into them again, just ping ponging. It can make for some rough racing.
Yeah, it's tricky when you're in the middle of the pack like that because you don't want to come back down,
But you got to get
but
off
at
that
the
wall
same
at the same
time,
time.
you got to get off the wall, otherwise you lose the draft.
All right, let's see if we can hold this in a little bit better here, fellas. Oh, as we see Noco diving to the inside. No, that ain't Noco. Who was that? Was that the 76? Or
There is no
78?
76 in the field.
Oh, as we see a big wreck. Seeing Sky in the 88. Looks like RKM. Looks like Eternal got mixed up in that and again as well.
Man, he's having no luck, but
No, he is not.
I am still getting reports that he is still lagging.
Oh,
So here in the break between this race and ISM, you may need to reset his device here.
yeah.
Try to get his connection a little better. Man, you hate to see that happen. He ran so good at both races last week. And
And last night.
actually, yeah, and last night he finished fourth place in the Custom Cup Series. I mean, the race isn't over though.
Oh no.
He keeps
Not by a
getting
long
involved
shot.
in stuff, and he's having a lag issue. What he might try to do is just ride around in the back, let it sort itself out, and then start working his way up. Maybe, there's always at least one, maybe two pit stops in the final stage of a race.
Short
He
pit.
might have to try to do some pit strategy, get himself up in maybe a top five. He doesn't. Those dash drivers are pretty strong, but he might be able to get himself up in the top five. As the Sergeant Saul's out in the Ford camp, Matty's been struggling this race, but at this point, he's the guy that needs to be getting behind his Ford teammates that are running for points and just push them forward.
Yep.
Not fight for positions, just help his teammate at this point.
It looks like I see that green and white 98 moving up the pack just a little bit.
He's right there behind Smitty on the inside.
Yep.
Oh, he drifts up the track for an RKM, looks like. It looks actually like Eternal may have picked a slider like a 6 or a 7.
Just a little
He
bit
looks
too
like he's a
tight.
little tight. Yeah, he's having a hard time. He might have picked something loose and just over adjusted it though. Also,
That could be it. I tell you, man, this is a good run for first and second, but that battle for third back area is starting to heat up.
somebody we haven't talked about much today, but just moved into third. Brian, who's now looks like he's fallen back, being the only car on the outside. As this Toyota driver comes up and helps.
Yep.
But Brian also had a top 5 in both races last week, and he's one of the top three in
wide.
points.
Oh, let's see how this works.
I'm a little surprised to have seen that. That was 3 wide, and all 3 cars were Toyotas.
Well, that might have been a good thing, because if there was another manufacturer and they're not having communication with everybody, that might not have worked as
It
well as it
probably would have
did.
been a wreck, yeah. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Mike Pittman,
Yes.
MP Roofer. He's in the Toyota camp. Last week at Atlanta, he was the highest finishing Xfinity driver behind all the Dash participants. And today at work, he fell off a roof and he was headed to the hospital last I knew, so he's unable to be here this week. I want to give out a big prayer and safe recovery to you, bud. We're all thinking of you here at the Giggity Racing League.
Oh yes, it's weird not seeing that number 20 on the track.
He may not always be the fastest, but he is one of the more exciting. I'll never forget custom setup race. What was it at Daytona? One of these races, we did a custom setup race. He was in the dash and he made a 3-gear setup and he ran the whole dash in 4th gear. And couldn't figure out why he had no speed.
Yes.
Yeah. And then he switched into 4th gear with like the last 3 or 4 laps, and he actually ended up with the second fastest lap of the race, but it was one of the last 5 laps of the race. Poor fella.
As we see Noco take the lead away from Little Man. How long will it last, though? Little Man looks like he's been doing pretty good up there. Let's see how his car does behind him now.
What I'm interested, I actually spoke about this, but Marcus restarted dead last on this last restart. And if you look in the 4th position,
yes,
here he comes.
Yes, he is. It looks like Little Man was getting a little bit loose coming through that tri-oval a while ago. He looked like he lost a little bit of position on Noco.
And back to something we were talking about earlier, Marcus and Little Man have a little history going on with today.
See Trout catch the wall.
As Marcus goes to the inside of Spenker to catch the draft of Little Man, so they will now be running 2nd and 3rd.
Then switch to Marcus. I'm riding from the rear camera looking forward, and he's got Little Man dead in his sights. Let's see what's going to happen here. But then again, seeing how they're both running for points, they're both regulars, maybe a little bit of a grudge, but do you risk that?
Well, this might be one of those, this is a draft-heavy track, but you don't necessarily bump draft. You kind of leave that 1/10 of a second between yourself to be a little faster. This might be one of those races where Marcus just goes up there and uses that bumper just a hair. Not necessarily to move him or any of that, just to show a little displeasure and, hey, I'm right here. Look who's behind you. With their history, it may be something that could make Little Man, a little nervous. Like, how's he going to react? Should I just lift and let him go?
I'm pretty sure he knows he's behind him.
Oh, I'm sure they've been watching each other on the ticker the whole race. Now, the positive here, actually, for Little Man is if and when Marcus goes to make a move, the Little Man being a Chevy, the 2 cars behind Marcus are also Chevy, is even if Little Man goes to the outside, Marcus gets down low, I would imagine the Chevys will probably go to the outside and help Little Man.
Oh, yes.
But with that same thing said, again, shout out to Marcus. He seems to be like the sole dominant Toyota in the only car that seems to be able to break. Oh, Smitty Rex.
Oh.
Smitty hit the outside wall, catches Eternal, Maddie, Brian, Big Wreck. Looks like they're staying green though.
Oh. You see Little Man. Oh, he touches Marcus. Or Marcus touches Little Man.
Marcus got down on the apron. Yeah.
Was that a block by Little Man trying to say no? You're going to have to work a little bit more. It sure looks like it.
Well, now what I was saying about the extra help, Little Man still has it with Spenker being there, but Spenker's actually looks like he's staying on the rear end of Marcus pretty good. Wherever Marcus goes, he's following.
I think he's also probably just using that draft. I'm pretty sure if Marcus makes a move, gets around him, if Spenker can't get around Little Man as well, I'm pretty sure he'll fall in behind him and start pushing him the same way he is Marcus right now.
What I'm a little surprised about, well, we're talking about this 3-car battle here for a second and how Marcus and Little Man were going to respond. They've actually been in a pretty good line in drafting, but they're not catching Noco for the lead.
Well, we all know Noco's got a fast car and he's a heck of a driver too, so.
This is true. Marcus is trying. He's going to the outside now.
As we see who's Spenker going to go with.
I expected that. Spenker chose to go with Marcus. See, that's what I'm a little shocked to see that.
Oh, no,
he drops down low on the straightaway and he goes high. And they make contact.
They both held it though. That's good. Oh, as we see, little man looks like he got modeled a little bit tight,
Yeah, did he get
or
tired or is he just running
loose.
Marcus up the
Oh,
track?
as he catches the wall. But then again, these cars, you get somebody beside you, sometimes they can take the air out from underneath your right side and get you a little bit swirly going through the corners.
Marcus gets a little breathing room now from Little Man for a few laps at least. He's probably trying to cool down himself after,
Yeah, I'm
of
pretty
all
sure his
cars, trying to
hands
get around
was
Little Man.
shaking just a little bit.
The cars we haven't talked about here for a minute, but they're nose to tail. AJG, A-Trout, and RKM.
Yes, I see
We
that
know
back there.
Trout has a fast car as he qualified on the pole. And with these top four spread out and those three nose to tail, I wouldn't be shocked to see them catch Spenker here within just a few laps.
And the fact that they're all three in Toyotas.
Yeah, and they're in the same chat, and you can clearly tell they're working together.
Oh, yes.
Nobody's stepping out. They're staying in line drafting. You have RKM and Trout that have nothing to do here other than get a victory, and they can't win being that far back. And then you have AJG, the points leader, leading the pack. That if you're Trout and RKM, there's nothing better to do right now than go and get him some extra points.
Oh, yeah.
Because realistically, even though Chevy's winning the race, the Toyotas are winning the series right now. With Marcus being the top running Xfinity driver up there in second.
As we see, who's that, Eternal coming off of pit road, or is that Smitty?
Yes, that's Eternal.
Alright.
Noco drops, gets some draft from him. Now this could be a big play. Everybody said that Eternal's been lagging really. Oh, his Noco's coming to pit lane right now.
Yes, he is.
Giving the lead up to Marcus. I'm a little surprised there wasn't more talk there. With Marcus being in second, Noco, Little Man, and Spenker all pitting together could have actually screwed Marcus out of quite a bit, really. They would have been pitting and coming back out.
Looks like AJG, Trout, and RKM all three pitted together as well. So, but then again, with them three pitting, you got to wonder why Marcus didn't go with them as well. As we see, Little Man and Spenker hitting pit road now.
Marcus needs to come to pit lane now. He's going to lose a lot of time without any draft. He should catch some from Eternal being up there a little bit, but as for him pitting with the rest of the Toyotas, they look like they're about 3 to 4 seconds behind him, so it really wouldn't have benefited him to pit with those guys. He really needed to pit when Noco pitted, of all people.
And he is pitting now.
On my screen, I'm watching Little Man and Spenker, kind of see where they come out in relations to Noco. With those couple cautions that came out earlier, this may be the only green flag pit stop they have to make this stage.
Possibly. But also, Noco had a big lead whenever everybody started to pit. But we see AJG
right now.
And Trout, they came out together, it looks like, so they've got the draft, rather than everybody else. So is that going to give them a little bit of advantage going forward?
Well, it looks like they're considerably closer to Spenker than what they were.
Oh, yes.
But the biggest gainer was the early pit stop from Noco.
Yes, it was. It looked like.
The one person I'm not seeing out here right now, Marcus, who's coming off pit lane right now, who was running in second, as second, third, fourth, and fifth should all get him before the backstretch.
Yep.
So the biggest loser in the pit lane looks like it's going to be Marcus.
But now he's got Toyotas surrounding him.
As long as he can get up to speed and be able to hang with that draft, as it looks like he was able to.
Oh, yep.
So him, Trout, and AJG, which again, another 3-car pack, and you have 3 cars up here that are running with no draft, with Noco in the lead, Little Man in second, and Spenker in third.
All right, so let's see what this produces. Noco's got a big lead on everybody. Let's see if these Toyotas can work together and hunt them down.
It looks like RKM, of the top 6, he seemed to lose the draft. He must have got in the pit lane hard. I don't want to say that he had penalty because he's too close, but it looks like he must have just had a bad entrance in the pit lane. as him, Trout, and AJG all put it together.
Or did
But he looks like
everybody
he's
else
about two
take
and a
two
half seconds back.
tires and him take 4?
Well, with them being in the same chat,
I figure they do
I
the
would
same thing
imagine
as
that they
everybody.
probably all did the same thing. He just might have slowed down too soon when the other two got in, a little quicker or something along those lines.
Or had a rough entry, just getting the tires or something like that, possibly.
Yeah, as it looks like Nelco has lapped Matty. Um, if you're Little Man or Spenker, do you try to work with Matt now, just so you
Uh,
have some draft? Because those 3 Toyotas are coming. They are catching Spenker.
I would say right now, use him on the back stretches, to get that run going into the corners. But if you catch him, going into a corner, I would have to say if you've got the momentum, they probably will go around him. Like I said, as of right now, he's sucking up to him and moving to the inside
Yeah,
as
that was the
Matty
right thing.
moves up.
Matty did the right thing as lap cars coming. He just up and he pulled up out of the way. Said, "Yeah, go ahead. I ain't got nothing for you." And Matty's
Yeah.
doing the right thing, falling behind him now and catching that draft and just riding. Caution comes out. Matty's sitting in the lucky dog spot. I'm actually a little shocked to see Matty struggling tonight. These
I
draft
am
tracks are
too.
usually that's his forte.
It is.
Last week at Daytona and Atlanta, he had a good strong run at both tracks.
Oh, yes. As we see these Toyotas splitting 3 wide now, maybe
Yeah, I'm a little
looks
shocked to see that.
looks like Marcus gets around AJG. Now,
They
could
might
that
be
have
coming
been
to a
just
few
a
laps to go.
change of position to let him get a little bit more points?
Well, see, AJG and Marcus are both running for points.
That's right. So that wouldn't have been it.
The one driver in that group not running for points is Trout. AJG is the points leader. Marcus actually, although he lagged out of both races last week, he finished all 4 stages and he got finishing points. So he's actually sitting third in points going into this race. So that's first and third. With the second place in points, Kay Larson, not here. So regardless of the outcome of this race, those two will probably still be your top 2 in points, or become your
Yes.
top 2 in points. As only one series regular up there beating them with Little Man. I can tell you though that
As we see Matty catch the
he just went up. I don't know if he hit the apron or what caused that.
I don't see a caution coming out though, and it don't look like Trout lost anything out of it either. So
Also, real quick, I want to stand corrected. I said that those two should be the points leader after this race, top first and second. Little Man is actually only 6 points behind Marcus in the points. And we know that Little Man had a stage 2 victory, so he got a playoff point and the all crucial 10 season points. So he may actually end up moving up and passing Marcus in points after this race.
a little bit of fuel to the fire.
Yeah. I feel like those Toyotas are coming, but once they started spreading out and racing for position, they kind of stalled out. They're considerably closer than they were after pitting, but they stalled out. Also, I just noticed as they were going past front stretch, RJ Smitty just pitted. He had lost the draft earlier, but he pitted in the last cycle that all the leaders did. So
Maybe another pit
I'm
stop.
thinking there's another round of pit stops. As now Eternal's on pit lane. Now,
So
this is too soon to say that they're running out of fuel, I would imagine. I'm thinking that just like we talked about with Eternal earlier, let it ride out, catch a break, short pit, maybe take just a splash or minimum amount of fuel at this point, try to salvage a decent finish. But I'm definitely thinking there's another set of green flag pit stops coming.
Yep, as we see Toyota's pitting now.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
A little bit awkward. Looks like he popped AJ in the bumper.
AJ and Marcus both seem to have gotten on decent. Trout looks like he might actually be in trouble here. Those two may come out nose to tail while Trout might end up losing the draft. I see that none of these cars were bumped out of their pit box and unable to pit this time.
Yeah, lucky for them.
Sorry, I had to throw it out there, man.
Yeah.
And actually, Marcus and Trout come out nose to tail with AJG following them.
Hmm.
So I'm actually going to say that even though they're in the same chat, exactly what you had mentioned earlier about do you take two, do you take four? I'm thinking that Marcus and Trout took two and AJG took four, even though they're in the same chat. I mean, you can clearly see that AJG lost those two.
Well, I'm thinking Noco's about to maybe have to pit. Looks like his car's drifted up higher in the corners now than it has been lately. So maybe his tires are going down.
Well, or he could be running the idea of entering 3 and 4 and coming. Somebody else might be pitting in front of him. Sometimes you can't see in front of you too well with lap traffic when you're the leader. You can't look at your clicker time and see how close that guy is to you to pit. You could just come around the corner and all of a sudden there's a car stopped, and if you try to turn right to avoid him, you'll go flying up into the wall. Baker Bones entering pit lane now. And same with turns 1 and 2. Somebody might be in the apron in the middle of the corner. That when you're getting to the corner, you don't see him, and he comes up on the track or something. Better safe than sorry. You might lose a tenth or two running the outside, but it might save you. But Noco does have to be pitting here shortly. He did the early pit on the last pit sequence that everybody else stayed out another couple laps, and he gained a couple seconds. And once these leaders started pitting, he's got to be following suit shortly after.
Along with Little Man as well, because he still hasn't pitted either. I'm watching him right now.
I'm actually thinking that Marcus and Trout, they've been nose to tail, which this is now 2 pit stops that they've been able to pit and come back out nose to tail. If you remember, Arcam was with him before and he couldn't keep up with him through the pits, and then now AJG, they might end up. I don't want to speculate, but they may end up becoming one of the top guys once this round of this pit cycle's out.
As we see Noco pitting now. Little Man is staying out.
Little Man needed to pit there with Noco.
Yeah, because it looks like Little Man's tires are falling out too.
Yeah. I can't imagine that he's running the laps that he was before. Now, just so anybody knows that's watching or is going to watch this back later, this race is a 3 times wear, so they're not getting a normal fuel run. Okay. Yeah, he needed to. It actually looks like, I can't tell if they're lead lap cars. RKM and Brian are in front of Marcus and Trout. So I don't know if that was a different fuel strategy, or because when the pit cycled out, they were again RKM had just lost Trout and Marcus and had fallen back and started working with Brian, but now it looks like they're a couple seconds ahead of Marcus and Trout.
And Noco's off pit road heading into turn 3 now, getting up to speed, and it looks like he's still got a fairly decent gap over everybody else again.
And it looks right now like what I was saying, Brian and RKM were only about 6 seconds back, and now it looks like they're about 3 seconds back from Noco. So they may have taken just fuel or something. Looks like, I would imagine they're still on the lead lap.
I'm thinking Little Man might have had a little bit of pit strategy on his own, because he's about 2 seconds in front of.
Did he come out in front of Noco?
Yes, he did. He's crossing the start-finish line now as we see Noco start crossing now. So he's about 2.5 seconds, 2.5, 3 seconds ahead of Noco now. So maybe he
is. Spanker's now coming off pit lane. Yeah, I guess.
I don't think he might have took tires though, because it looks like he's still struggling through the corners.
Yeah, he's struggling. He's having a hard time in the corners. He's going way high. That could be the downfall. I don't know what there is for laps left. I wouldn't imagine a whole lot, but I would imagine Noco's had some good laps this whole race. I would imagine if there's 10 laps left, Noco will be right on his bumper by the end.
Oh yes. Nice to see him get around the lap cars up there.
Oh yeah, Brian definitely took no, or not Brian, Little Man definitely took no tires. He's struggling to hold that, not hit the wall. And Noco is coming. That Spenker back in third now?
Possibly.
Let me see if I can't catch Noco's screen and see who that is following him. Not quite, I can't.
Yeah, it's definitely the blue and white number 9 of Spanker.
Yeah. A little farther back, Marcus and Trout have caught RKM and Brian. Actually, RKM has fallen back. He might have hit the wall. Marcus and Brian are racing side by side now.
Well, all I know is Noco's cut that gap a little bit.
Noco's still the car to watch here.
Oh yes.
Lil Man may have a big lead, but it's clear that he didn't take tires.
It's not
and
that
Noco's
big of a lead now.
Laps. That's about a second. He's got it probably in half.
I'm just curious how many laps are left. If there's 2 or 3 laps left, can he hold him off? Because as we see, Noco's car is right on the bottom of that track. Is Little Man struggling to make turn 1 and 2. Looks like he's doing halfway decent in 3 and 4 still, but turn 1 and 2 seems to be a little bit tighter than 3 and 4 is anyway. And not having tires, I know that's not helping any.
With how quickly Noco pulled away from Spenker, who was right on his tail, I'm going to say Spenker did the same thing, no tires.
Yep.
Which yet again brings out the idea, if you're Noco, Little Man's got to be stressing that of all people catching him, it's Noco, because teammate or not, Noco wants the win.
Yes.
But if you are Noco, do you just
let your
ride in
teammate
second
win?
and let your teammate get the W?
I'm pretty sure they're having that conversation right now. And I wonder what their Captain Smitty thinks.
I'm just having a hard time thinking that Noco will push Lil Man to the win. I can only imagine that he's going to just... I don't know what there is for laps. If there's 1 or 2 laps, I can see him following. If there's 5 to 10 laps left, I can only imagine Noco's going to go around him.
And here he goes.
Noco now. This was not a question of if. This was a question of when they were going to...
Oh, as they make contact. Oh!
That might have been one that Little Man should have taken at least 2 tires there. And you can tell he took no tires.
Oh, on the last lap. Wow,
oh.
You know Little Man is going nuts right now.
I want to go back to, as we were talking about, the final lap. Noco may be a teammate, and probably any other Chevy on the track would have pushed Little Man to the win. But not Noco. Noco is not known to follow and help. Noco is known to lead and be in charge.
Wow.
That was crazy. I wish I'd known that was the last lap prior.
Oh, yeah. You think that might have been the reason why Little Man made a little bit of contact with him, trying to slow him down just a little bit?
No doubt. You know, I was questioning it when I first seen it. I'm like, why would Little Man do that? Just let him go, fall in line. But being the last lap, I'm surprised he didn't go farther down.
Oh, yes. I gotta say, first race of the night, well, that was pretty good.
Who ended up third there?
I'm thinking Spanker. Yeah.
Spanker did. Okay. Let's try to get Noco and Little Man in here, maybe.
All right.
I'm not going to bring the two of them in together. There might be some hostility going on there now.
Yeah, I was wondering if he's going to do that or not.
There he is. Noko
Noko.
joined. Can you hear us, bud?
Yes, sir. I got my party settings set for you.
All right.
Okay. Congratulations on the victory.
And that was a race. That was definitely one for the books.
What was there? 3 cautions looked like, maybe 4. Looked like some great racing out there.
It was great. The track was good. It rubbered up good today, and I don't know. I'm real proud of all those guys out there today.
So I gotta ask, did you know going into that last lap that Little Man is now your Chevy teammate racing for points in the Xfinity series?
I did. It was tough for me to want to pass him, but at the same time, when you're out there and you basically got control of the race at the end, you got to go for the win.
Oh yeah.
Man, I was saying on the broadcast
we helped him.
that,
We helped him get those stage points, and he said, I was trying to pinch you off a little, but
That's what
I wasn't going to race you
wondering.
like that. He tried, but it was a hell of a race, guys.
Did he take no tires at the end there?
I believe he took 2.
That's like, because it looked like his
Ooh.
car was still sliding up a little bit, like his right sides were still worn. So
I believe he took 2. I'm not quite sure on that, but I believe he took 2 tires. But I just can't say enough for the Chevy camp and what we're all doing this season. I don't know. I feel like I really got some momentum now after last night.
yes.
It's clicking them off now. It's I don't know. It's a good time to be a part of the Giggity Racing League for sure.
yeah, that was man, that was honestly on the broadcast end. That was a hell of a race to watch.
Oh yes.
You, Noko, you by far had the car to beat. And I want to shout out to Boom as he actually picked you as his odds-on favorite to win the
I
race.
did.
That's my man right there. Boom. He may be driving a Ford, but he's a fan of that boy in the Chevy.
Well, it's just watching you race the last couple weeks, plus racing with you in the Cup Series, the way that you dominated, the run at ISM. I kind of figured, you had a decent setup for the night, so anytime you're in a race, I know there's a chance that you're going to come out there and win with just the experience that you've got compared to everybody else. I mean, it seemed, like a legitimate pick, and for once, the first time in 5 broadcasts, my pick actually wins.
Your pick came. Hey,
Well,
man, I'm glad
I can't
I was
really
able to
say
bring it home
that.
for
I
you.
picked Fluffy last week, but that's Fluffy. I mean, you got to pick Fluffy.
Of course, me and him have had a bunch of battles.
A couple nights ago at Martinsville, y'all had a heck of a battle.
Man, I'll tell you what, Fluffy he's on another level, man. That guy's amazing.
But congratulations, and what do you think going into this next race?
ISM's tough. I feel like it's going to be a fuel mileage race. Whoever, as long as we can string it out and go green. I won this race last season in the Cup, and I won it off a fuel strategy and saving the tires. So if the race goes green, if anyone else is listening, save your tires, save your fuel at the end, and you might come out on top.
All right then.
But man, after last night, man, I was starting to forget how to do donuts in Victory Lane. It had been a while.
Glad you could get it back here tonight.
Man, I got to take the training wheels off,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Noko. Well, we're gonna let you get back to your party and get you ready for ISM. As we're gonna get Lil Man in here and see his take on having to watch you take the win away from him there on the final lap.
Right on. Taddy, I can't thank you enough for what you do for the Giggity community and Boomhauer, you broadcasting these races. You guys, shout out to you guys, man. You guys are the ones that make this possible.
Thanks, man. And again, congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
All right, now let's see if we can get Lil
plumb
Man in
tickled,
here.
didn't he?
Yeah.
He
Man,
was
that's
happier than a
that's,
twister in the trailer park.
that's a good race right there, you
It
know.
was.
Little Man's not showing online.
Let me see if I've got him. I believe I do. Look, I got him right here. I'm sending it to you. You'll have to confirm him, but there it is.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I have his real name, so I was looking for Little Man, and it's that messes with me. Hey, Little Man.
What's going on, fellas?
First off, are your party settings on always allowed to be broadcasted?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Okay. You want to take this one, Boom?
Yeah, man. What was you thinking on that last pit stop, man? I mean, it looks like you came out, a little bit ahead of Noco, but it looks like, the tire situation looks like he's able to get you on the last lap.
Yeah, I probably could have held him off, but I didn't want to run him too hard because I feel like they helped me out with stage 2 there. Because I know he was coming. I knew that. But I knew 2 tires was my only chance of being able to even have a chance to win.
Well, how does it feel, getting a stage win and finishing second, your first race in, another manufacturer?
It's good, good. Sometimes changes for the best.
Yeah.
On that fact, I got to ask you, Little Man. How are you feeling? Looks like maybe the beginning of stage 3, you and Spanker were out there, and then Marcus catches you guys. Marcus was right on your tail for a while.
Yeah,
Were you nervous that there was going to be some retaliation?
Oh, I wasn't nervous. No. I
Were
knew
you
I
just
was
full-fledged expecting it?
Yeah, a little bit, but he didn't do it. I know I was going to run him hard, though. I did know that. I knew I was going to run him hard. But
we expected it up here. We made sure to watch that.
Oh, yes. We was watching y'all together.
That next lap, I let him go. I went up high a little bit. I was like, well, I made my point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need to hold no grudge.
Oh, no. But,
all right, man. Well, we're looking forward to maybe seeing you again up here after ISM. I know you only got limited time. You got like 7-8 minutes, so have a smoke break, bathroom break, or something before you get chasing ISM. But from all of us here at Giggity, we want to wish you congratulations there.
Yeah, I appreciate it. What did y'all think about me saving that fuel for that first stage, though?
And the first stage?
Smooth. Yeah, I won that first stage. I didn't pit at all. Everybody else had to pit.
I did. We'd actually, on the broadcast end, we didn't know. I've seen the results that you won the first stage. But on our end, we seen everybody else pit. We just assumed you did. We didn't even have you pegged as a leader.
Yeah, we thought Smitty or somebody got it.
Tell. Yeah, on the broadcast, you can't tell when people win. You know what I mean? Once the pit lane.
I saved that fuel, boy. I was like,
boy, that's crazy.
So that's 2 playoff
congratulations
points.
on that. Yeah, you ended up getting both stages then.
Yeah, and almost to win. But
all right, you almost swept it.
Good point tonight for you. So you should be moving into the top 2 here in points.
That sounds good. I appreciate it, fellas.
Again, good luck and congratulations. See you at ISM. Hoping for another great race.
I hope. I ain't too swift there.
All right. Good luck, man.
All right. Later, y'all.
And for all of us here at Giggity, that's going to wrap up our Las Vegas Xfinity preset coverage. Here in about 10-15 minutes, we're going to be going ahead again and getting the ISM Xfinity preset. Stay tuned and hope you enjoy our racing.
Catch y'all in a little bit.